Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time tonight, because last time it didn't work right for me. Some stuff crashed, and then I didn't get the recording that I was going to upload, because I don't think there's a lot of ripped content from this. Also, there's going to be some flicker, because it's a camera that's pointed at the TV rather than ripping it directly, because I just haven't been able to do that because of the copy protection, which is also why a lot of it's not on YouTube. I did attempt to make videos a while back of the Yamaoka and Gans interviews, and I have those on the YouTube channel, which is Alchemilla Hospital 1, with the number 1 at the end, on the YouTube channel. And this is one of the hidden features of the Fukuro video. But that's another one you can find easily on YouTube, along with the trailers. Okay, I had to take the dogs out. And this is just an area where you can listen to selected Yamaoka songs. So we're not going to go through there, because you can find those on the internet anyway. This is another one of the hidden things. Also, they misspelled it. It's Kino Ko, not Kinoki, which I think just means mushroom. Not really sure what's going on with this crap either. And this is another video you can easily find on YouTube. I think it was on one of the DVDs, I don't remember which now. The Art of Silent Hill. Or Lost Memories. And we just see some legs stretching. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. It's just supposed to be some weird visuals. Okay, and I'll try to get some of these up in better quality when I upload the video. But for now, it is what it is. Also, if you can hear my dog eating a bone, I'm sorry about that. Okay, and this has some trailers. These TVs have the game trailers, and then here's the first movie trailer. Which, as I said before, I mean, at first I was sort of uncertain about it because, I mean, there's weird things changed, and Harry is a woman instead, but after having seen Silent Hill Revelation, I decided that the first Silent Hill movie wasn't too bad after all. I do have this one on DVD. There's also the ash stuff rather than the snow, and then so much of it was reused in Homecoming, which was annoying at times because, I mean, the stuff with the miners and then the nurses and the other world transitions. A lot of it seemed tied more to the movie than to the previous games. Also, there's a Christoph Gans interview that I will play on this in a little bit. And he talks about how they're writing the movie, and as they're writing Harry, they realize that he's a woman. Not like literally a woman, but they thought that the way he acted was feminine or something, and that's why they ended up turning it into a woman, which I think is a little bit bizarre, you know, as if a man isn't able to search for his daughter. But then I don't really mind the fact that it's Rose in this rather than Harry. Oh, and then there's Pyramid Head. That's the other annoying thing. The Pyramid Head with a different shaped helmet, and then that being used in Homecoming. See the Usagi video. This has various incarnations of Robbie. I think we only see the pink Robbie in the games, don't we? And then, I mean, there's toys of them in the Sweets Factory in different colors, but... And then Heather has that Blue Robbie Wins t-shirt. Then there was some strange video, I think it was related to Silent Hill 4, that shows Robbie standing in front of a toilet. And like I mean, despite the toilet themes in the games, that still seems a little bizarre to me. I'll have to make another few minor edits before I upload this also. I think I have a poor quality Silent Hill 2 trailer 2 times in a row So I'm going to take that out, and then that's before one of the Yamaoka interviews. If we're sort of going through this in an orderly fashion. Okay, and I'm still trying to fix the sound a bit, because it was up too loud. Alright, trying to mess with settings right now. Play back. And then this is the poor quality Silent Hill 2 trailer.
In my restless
I think it
dreams,
plays through twice, so
I see
try to
that
bear with me
town.
here. And then I'll fix that
Silent
before I upload the video.
You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm
Punch the
alone
microphone.
there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
I think I have the wrong file on here because that has the old Silent Hill logo. You can find that on the first game's disc also, but you don't actually see it because it wasn't used anymore. It is kind of cool looking though. Okay, and this is gonna play through one more time, I guess. Because I screwed things up when I was trying to capture the scrap, because it's been a huge pain because of the copy protection. And since the Vita came out, quite a while ago now, I really doubt people are going to be seriously looking for this UMD disc. So I figured I'd upload it as sort of a curiosity. Also, some of the things, like with still pictures and the one comic that is not also available on paper, which is The Hunger, I took screen caps of like every bit of dialogue and every scene, and I put that up so you can download as a zip file on alchemelhospital.net.
It was you, wasn't it?
I'm here for you, James.
Along with, not really walkthrough, but sort of discussion of what is on the disc. And the more I look through these comics, the more I understand why this whole medium didn't seem to take off.
Huh? Are you blind or something?
See? I'm real.
Well, I'm glad, at least some people are interested in what's on it. But yeah, you can take screen caps, but you can't take video clips of, like, the comics or the interviews. So I had to point a camera at the TV screen and try to record that way. Then I just had like a line out and trying to record the sound directly.
Mary, could you really be in this town?
But yeah, those different fonts happen a couple times, I think, in the old trailers. Then there's that other, like, greenish yellow logo that happens in the one Silent Hill 2 trailer. Alright, this is, I think, the entrance right here. And there's sort of a lag, before you can press the button. There's that directional, like, compass rose type thing, and before that even shows up, you can't press anything. I was having trouble finding the one I was even looking for here. But let's get out of there for now. Okay, and I just ended up where I came from. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I think it has, like, 1 through 5, which corresponds to the comic books 1 through 5 of Dying Inside, but that was released as a physical, paper comic book, so not going to go through that. Also, I think it's more enjoyable to actually read comic books on paper, or, scans of them on the computer rather than these animated UMD videos. Okay, which one's this? Okay, this is the Yamaoka interview, the first one. So I'll shut up for a minute now. Or did we get out of it? Oops. That's not where I want to be. Alright, let's just see what's in here then. Forward. See, they spell Kristoff wrong too. Kritzoff. So that's like, just in the main titles there's even 2 typos. With, you know, Kinoko and Kristoff Gans.
サイレントヒルの、中で、一番このシーンに、ゲーム中のシーンですごく、イメージがこうぴったし合ってる音楽をあえてこう選んだというところありますね。逆に、共通点はないと。シリーズの中での音楽として、バリエーションに、富んだものを選びましたと。グルーブ的なところで、ジャンルの進化はないですけど、ワールドビートとかそういう新しいビートを、追求して進化したっていうところはあります。そうですね、ジャンルにとらわれないというか、ジャンルで考えない、音楽を作る、スタイルという感じですね。他のいろんな、世の中にある音楽を、いろいろチェック聞いたりすることで、自分も感化されてるっていう感じですね。楽器による実験っていうのは、あんまりやってないですけど、自分の中で、常に、ないものを、出せるように新しいものを追求できるようなことを、毎回毎回試みてるっていうところありますね。サイレント2の、シモローラが、自分的にはすごい気に入ってますと。でそのシモローラに関しては、ゲーム中のゲームっていう音楽の中でゲームらしくない音楽を作ろうと思って、やった音楽として、自分なりにそれが実現できたというところですごくお気に入り、そういう意味ではお気に入りですね。ケースバイケースあると思います。音楽がゲームが音楽にそれぞれ影響を与えるっていう風だと思っています。クラシックな音楽とジャズ以外の音楽をこよなくたくさん聴いております。とても、嬉しく思います。特に「サイレントヒル」っていう作品は、ゲームでありながらとても映画のようなゲームっていう作品性を目指していたので、そこの元の映画っていうところからこの「サイレントヒル」っていうコンテンツが、ある意味選ばれて作品になるってことはとても嬉しく思います。もともとサイレントヒルっていうゲームが、さっき言ったように映画から影響を受けたってことで、特にデビッド・リンチだったりスティーブン・キングだったり、それこそジェイコブス・ラダーだったりっていう作品の影響はとても大きいんですね。だからそういったものを影響されて僕らがサイレントヒルっていうゲームを作ったように、映画化になればそれら彼らの作品のような まあ足して3で割ったよっていう簡単にはいかないけれど、そういった作品に仕上がるのではないかなっていうのは思いますした。まあもちろん映画もそうなんですけど、特に「サイレントヒル」っていうゲームはホラーでありながら人の心理状況とか感情的な面とか人間性みたいなところをすごく深く追求してるところがあるんですね。で特にそのちょっと難しくなっちゃうんですけど、ドストエフスキーの「罪と罰」とか、特に「サイレント2」であればドストエフスキーの「罪と罰」なんていうのはとても参考にして、その作品、この「サイレント2」には「罪と罰」っていうのがすごく色濃く影響されてますね。サイレントヒル1で出てきた、看護婦のリサが僕は結構お気に入りというか印象的ですね。でそれは比較的サイレントヒル1ではほとんどちょい役というか、そんなに主人公クラスでは全然出てこないんですけど、ストーリー上で描かれるリサの感情とかそのリサが出てくる登場する、理由だったりっていうところで大きく「サイレントヒル」っていう根底的に流れるお話とは離れてはいないんですけど、リサを通して伝えられる人間の悲しさとかそういうのがすごく出てるんですね。本当に少ない登場なんですけど、僕はすごく印象的で好きですね。これもまあサイレントヒル1なんですけど、最初に自分の子供がハリーの子供がいなくなって追いかけてくるシーンで、次第にまあだんだん詰まっていくとですね、路地裏でカメラがパンニングしながら彼を頭上からこう追いかけて、プレイヤブルのシーンなんですけど、こう追いかけるシーンがですねそこはすごく印象的です。すごくそこを作った時はもう今までのゲームにはないカメラワークだと、まあ、自画自賛するぐらいすごい怖さっていうのがすごい出てたシーンで、ドラマティックな部分ではないですけど、これから向かうであろう恐怖というかそういうのをすごくよく表現しているシーンなので、とても印象的ですね。僕はサイレントヒルっていうのを作りながら、実は実はというか、自分が一番多分サイレントヒルのファンでもあるっていう自負っていうのはですね。でそういう立場でサイレントヒルを作りながら、サイレントヒルの一番の自分がファンだということで、まあ、今回クリス・ガント監督とお会いできたっていうか、一緒に作品をね作らせてもらうっていうだけでも光栄なんですけど、まずここでちょっとじゃあ置いときます。
Well, it's very, very complex because the series of Silent Hill, the games, are based on a very emotional approach of the storytelling. I mean, usually in a game, you have to face danger, you have to be a warrior, you have to be a hero. In Silent Hill, you can't be a hero. You stay until the end somebody with very, very deep emotional feeling. And so in a way, it's very disturbing. A lot of people talk about why these games are so frightening. And they talk about the atmosphere, they talk about the colors, they talk about the creature. But I think that these games are very frightening because the characters are very emotional. And basically, they are very vulnerable. And you can't fight against the creature in the game. You can kill one or two creatures, but quickly you have to run. And that's one of the secrets of the success of this series, is that basically the creator of the series decide that the gamer has to stay a human being and not try to be like an idealistic vision of himself or herself. So that's a very important point. And so when you're playing to the game, your feelings are very confusing, very disturbing, And constantly you try to see where is the line between good and evil, where is the line between making something good and making something ugly. And the loneliness of your character through the adventure, because most part of the time you're completely alone in the fog and in the dark, make that you're very, very vulnerable in terms of moral perspective, according what you have to do in the game. I mean, every gamer will understand what I say when, for example, I will talk about in the first game when you have to kill Sybil. That's an horrific moment. That's certainly one of the most horrific moments in a gamer life. The moment where you have basically to kill the only character who can help you, because you have to do that. And it's why the game is, for me, a very pervert experience, because constantly you have to define yourself through action that sometimes you don't want to do. Or most part of the time, all the game are about things that you want to do, that you would love to do if you were a hero. In Silent Hill, you're forced to do some action that just make you feel very alone and very disturbed. And it's a very mature way to approach game, I think. I think that, for me, that's maybe the first game that we can say it was mature. It was conceptualized in a very mature way. There is no other game like Silent Hill. You know, it's great because as a director, I have adapted a comic book, I have adapted a script, but I never adapted before a game. And I realized when I was doing that it was completely different. When you're reading a book, you figure what can be the color, what can be the shape of the thing that as described in the book. But when you're adapting a game, you're adapting something that actually you have lived for real. It's like going in a different country. It's like going to Pakistan, coming back and say, I want to tell a story about my trip in Pakistan. That's exactly the same thing with game, and especially with a game like Silent Hill. When I was adapting this game, it was like, I had the feeling that I have to tell to the people what was exactly my feeling and my adventure when I was in Silent Hill, when I spent so many hours in the night playing to Silent Hill. It was like a foreign country. Oh, I'm going to tell you how it's to be in Silent Hill. So it's a very, very interesting thing. It's why it becomes also very personal as a process. You know, you can't adapt a game just because you have to adapt a game. It's not adapting a game is not like adapting a comic book. You know, it's completely different because you have the feeling to have been there. You know, and bring back some truth about what was the experience to face that adventure. So it's, I would say that it's almost like a self-biography, adapting a game, a good game, of course. No, of course not. You know, when we are dealing with bad games, of course you have to play the game to enjoy an adaptation. But I think that Silent Hill, like all the great creation, expand the boundaries of its medium. I mean, Silent Hill is not only a game. For me, it's a piece of modern art. It's not only a game. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's something frightening, it's something disturbing, it's something very beautiful. And no, I think that yeah, Silent Hill is a very, very complex thing. I think that Silent Hill, because it's a modern art piece, you have to be aware not only about games, but also about painting, filmmaking, writing. I mean, like every important piece of art, it covers many mediums. You know, when you're looking at a movie by David Lynch, I admire David Lynch, you have the feeling to see a movie which also has a beautiful pictorial strength, but also a very beautiful writing quality. And of course, the music is also important. I mean, that in complete piece of art, you know, you're covering many medium. And I have the feeling that the game of Silent Hill is all about music, writing, aesthetic, photographic feeling. You know, it's everything in one piece. So yes, when I have to adapt Silent Hill, you know, I watch some work of some painter like Francis Bacon. I'm watching again the photography of Belmer. I'm watching some movie from East Europe, or very old film like the one by Luis Buñuel. I mean, it's everything which can help you to have this surrealistic perception, you know, is important. You see what I mean? I mean, it's not like, okay, I'm going to take a piece of that, a piece of that, a piece of that. You know, adapting Silent Hill is a matter of sensitivity. And if you want that sensitivity be completely aware, you have to watch again the work of some painters, the work of some director, the work of some, you know, writers, just to make your sensitivity at the right level, to make that kind of adaptation possible. You know, I don't think that you can simply take pieces everywhere. We are not dealing with a game which is like a B movie. I mean, like you know, a puzzle of different influence. You know, Silent Hill exists by itself. It has no equivalent. So you have to be in the right mood to do it. Oh, I think it's a question that I'm going to hear a lot. In fact, what happened is that because we wanted to adapt the first game, it was obvious for us, I mean, for me and my co-writers, that the hero will be Harry Mason, and the hero of the first game. And when we start to write him, respecting his personality, we found that he was talking like a woman. You know, this guy, and he worked very well in the game, but when you try to transpose him as a real character, it's a woman. And for me, there was two options. Or I was transforming completely the guy and accept his name, or I was trying to keep the psychological atmosphere of the character, and I was making him a woman. And we decided to make him a woman. I think that because Silent Hill is a very beautiful creation, I don't think that it's important if the main character is wearing a dress or a pants. What is important is that he has a very specific quality into his or her feeling, and it has a specific mood. And we thought that the fan will understand very well that, because we'll preserve the atmosphere of the game, which is the most important thing. You know, as a gamer, as a fan of Silent Hill, that's for me the real thing to preserve, the atmosphere. And I don't care if the character is a man or a girl, if the atmosphere is there. And you know, it's a very important point, but what can work into a medium, not necessarily work into another medium. I mean that game is game, movie is movie. And sometimes in a game, just a little ambiguity is enough to make a character very realistic, not in a film. In a film, you have to create what they call a psychological arc. You have to take the character and make him, you know, evolving through scenes. And it's true that for us, when we have adapted Silent Hill, what was important is adapt the mythology and the atmosphere of the game, but we try to make the character more complex than in the game. But keeping in mind that each of these characters has a special mood and was bringing a special quality to the atmosphere of the game. So I think that the gamer will be happy to find that Sybil Bennett is in the film, that Dahlia Gillespie is in the film, Alyssa Gillespie is in the film, but they will find also that this character have evolved, you know. Also because a movie has to expand the psychological vision of each character, you know. If not, we'll have to make something which will look very cardboard, you know. And I think it will be not a great thing to do with Silent Hill, you know. So the best thing that I have to do was to transpose as much as possible the character of Silent Hill and making them in flesh and blood. And no more like just a nice icon of CG imagery, something in flesh and blood. There is so many monsters, so many creatures with an interesting design in the game. It was like, oh, it's like opening the library queue of Akira. So many beautiful things here. And when you open the zoo of Silent Hill, so many beautiful creations, so many amazing creatures. And in fact, because I'm a gamer, an early gamer, I wanted to give my homage to the creature of the first one and the second one. I love the creature of the third one, and some of the creature of the fourth one are amazing. But sentimentally, you know, it was impossible for me to don't have in my film the armless creature, I mean Straight Jacket, the nurses, or Red Pyramid Head. And it was impossible. I could not imagine Silent Hill without this creature, for example. And so that's some of the creature that you will see in the film. Some of them. There is more. But I think that every fan also, it's like the music. Every fan can't imagine a film inspired by Silent Hill without the nurses or without Red Pyramid. I mean, it's impossible. You know, they are so amazing. And in fact, we love this monster. Because every fan knows that the monster in Silent Hill are not the most monstrous things in Silent Hill. The monster in Silent Hill sometimes are pathetic and strangely human. The real monster in Silent Hill are human beings. And that's one of the reasons it was important to keep this monster. Because they constantly recall us that the real monstrosity is not apparent. The real monstrosity, and that's one of the messages of the film, is in the mind of human being. And this monster have also that use. It's a very important use to understand the world of Silent Hill. It's difficult, you know, because there is so many amazing moments that I have spent in these games. But let's say that the death of Sybil on the merry-go-round in the first one, it was amazing. Of course, the first time you met Red Pyramid in the dark in the second one, and of course the climax of the second one is amazing. And when you realize the truth about your relationship with your wife, I mean, it's unforgettable. And actually, it's funny because these two moments make me cry. So that's one of the reasons I like to think that it was important to adapt this game. It's because it's not only about fear, it's about emotion. And these two very moments that I have, remembering, actually made me cry. That's important. There is not so many games that make you cry, you know, with your joystick in the hands. It's very rare. It's unique.
Okay, so this should be the one and only exclusive comic on this. And I've watched the games interview a couple times in the past week, and in general it makes me like them more, because because he does seem to have appreciated the games. Also, I just posted a link in the Twitch chat to where you can actually download the zip file of the screen caps of all this, which is going to be in better quality. Because I have some issues with the camera going into focus and cutting things off here. And that page that I linked to has YouTube videos of the things like the Fugaro video, Kinoko video, Usagi, and then all three of the interviews, as well as a zip file, where I just sort of went through this whole thing and screen capped every single bit of dialogue, which I think is a more enjoyable way to go through it anyway. Because you can go at your own pace, whereas this sort of drags along sometimes. Or maybe sometimes you're reading something and, you know, that speech bubble goes away before you're done reading it. So that's sort of a pain. And while I don't mind the music playing over it, it's like, I don't know, I don't think it enhances that much. I'd rather just, you know, be listening to the music and flipping through a comic book than this. And I like the art style, but the characters themselves aren't very compelling. I'm just not in love with any of the characters in this at all. Especially the main character, he's like kind of dull. We're also supposed to care about his girlfriend Rosie, and I don't care about her either. And this is just about the only time we see her before she gets wacky and dies. And I already tried to record some commentary over this, but I was actually using the voice recorder, this like Tascam voice recorder handheld thing, and I was going to edit that in over it, but then the file got corrupted, so I'm going through it again. And here we're supposed to be impressed by how boring his assignments are. And since this is supposed to take place in Silent Hill, I suppose we're also supposed to be impressed by how boring Silent Hill is overall. And everyone's very boring and normal. Apparently he's been writing some... What is it? Those stories he wrote. He's been writing some tabloid type crap. Sorry, punched the microphone again. This is why I ordered another mic stand, because this is like a really uncomfortable setup. It has like this tripod, and it's only a few inches tall, and it's right where my mouse is. So I got one of those things that has like an arm. So hopefully I'll be punching the microphone less when I'm trying to either stream on here or do YouTube videos. Got one of those pop screens too. I do notice that sometimes that is it forget the name for it now. But anyway, like when you're saying a P sound and you go, it's supposed to help with this sort of thing, just in case. Also, it'll look cooler than this. Okay, so now we have like an actual murder or something going on, rather than his usual boring stories. And I feel like this really starts going on sort of a quasi-Lovecraftian sort of vibe more than a Silent Hill one. Because we end up with this, albino dude called Whatley, and he's, there's like all these occult books and things. And while I like Lovecraft, this is also a poor imitation of that. There's also a lot of repetition that pisses me off in this. Where everybody's talking about being hungry or hunger or so on. I mean, I get that they're trying to drive home a theme here and sort of bring everything together, but it just ends up being annoying because it's just repeated so much towards the end. Then we get this guy, who reminds me of Julian Sands in Warlock movies. Also, last time I streamed this, I think I linked to the tvtropes.com page about, evil albinos. I also talked about the things that TV Tropes page talks about, which is, how harmful these tropes are to people who do look a little bit different, which is to say, such as albino people. And they especially have a bad time, where is it? I forget the country, but somewhere in Africa I've seen YouTube videos on, and weird things happen, like they think raping a albino woman will cure HIV, so these women get raped for that reason, also because they stand out, especially in places where people mostly have dark skin, and then you have these albino people that are probably treated poorly anyway because they look different. And in addition to things like rape, they actually cut body parts off of them, and I've seen interviews with people who have they're missing arms and legs and things, which is just nuts. And this is all related to some sort of belief in magical things, and the albino people are supposed to be more magical if you take their body parts, but it's all pretty messed up. Occasionally I click the wrong button here and end up back in this title screen and out of the UMD disk. But yeah, this isn't directly related to anything, and not directly related to the albinos either, but on Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime, there was a documentary called The Muti Murders. That's M-U-T-I. And that deals with some of that magical beliefs and human body parts. And it's pretty gruesome, so I'll warn you about that, but in that it shows an actual dead child, if I remember. But just some of these strange occult beliefs, I thought it was pretty interesting. I'll see if I can post a link to that since I'm talking about it. Okay, so I posted a link to that Moody Murders video, but it's just like a true crime documentary, but it happens to be about these strange occult beliefs of like killing people and taking body parts and things. So it's like pretty far out. Alright, and back to this Hunger comic book. This is sort of what I mean about it really is heavy-handed with the hunger theme where everybody's eating things, and I just think it would be more effective if it wasn't done quite so heavy-handed and so often, I guess. I mean, some of the stuff is funny too, but it doesn't make up for the negative things about this, I don't think. Okay, so now we're back to Whatley. And because our main character writes about, like, really lame crap, she's worried that he's gonna write about the bugs. Also, Whatley apparently is a voyeur. And I guess this is also trying to bring in some doctor and nurse themes, though. Kind of strangely. And then we have some, like, Pyramid Head references going on here. Because she has a triangular shadow of her head. Meanwhile, this couple is just, like, casually cannibalizing each other. Also, did I miss that James and Mary reference again? I think they were shown on a bench or something. That might have been in the beginning, though. But I have screen caps of that up anyway. But yes, you gotta refer to Pyramid Head in every single thing. And of course, our hero starts questioning his sanity, but at least that's one of the things that makes sense in this. And she's eating a Twinkie. Yes, everyone is hungry. That's been established by now. And in general, I enjoy the art style, at least in these more realistic parts. Once it gets into the monsters, some of it's a little, I don't know, meh. overall, I don't think the story's the best, and is not really among my favorite comics, even of the Silent Hill series. Which I enjoyed the Dying Inside ones, and I like Menton 3's artwork in general. And let's see, I think the Anne one was alright, but I haven't looked at that in a while. I bought a different, like, non-Silent Hill one from Menton 3 also. What was that? Ars Memoria. And that was pretty cool. I like his art style. There's a lot of cool stuff on his site, too. I thought it said that would be a series, but I don't think there's been any more talk of it since whenever I bought that, which I think was years ago. Because, like, I only heard of them because of the Dying Inside comic. There, I pressed the wrong button again. So now we're back out to the title screen. But the references to other games start getting more common and more heavy-handed as we go along. And then just random monsters start appearing. Okay. I mean, some of the references I think are kind of cute, though. I mean, or clever. And some of them are not. Okay, and now he's seeing Rosie, I guess. Except she's not really there. This is nice. This is one I enjoyed here, is referring back to the first monster battle in Silent Hill 2. Except this time it's like some Charles Manson looking dude. But it's clearly the same area, and he picks up a board, just like James does. Once he stops talking to himself. Okay, so now he's hearing noises. It seems to start off with, like, the regular humans turning weird. I gotta get in the Nietzsche reference, too. But, yeah, it's like random people in the streets, and then a bunch of people he knows. I think it kind of overdoes that, too. Maybe they wanted this comic to sort of go on and on for a long time. That's all I can figure. All this extra garbage that doesn't need to be in there and doesn't really serve the story at all. Okay, somebody picked this dude up and threw him. And it's the albino dude again. So while he's, you know, in some sense the evil albino, he's also sort of his guide and, you know, telling him or trying to explain what's going on. since the story doesn't actually make any sense, we need somebody to have these big long monologues of where he just repeats things about being hungry a lot. You could make a drinking game about this comic, you know, and every time somebody talks about being hungry or hunger, you could drink, but then you'd end up dead, you know, within the hour. Alright, who's this guy? And then later he's looking for her, so what is this? I mean, is this a hallucination? See, now I'm confused about where he is, even. Okay, so that must have been some sort of hallucination, or I don't know, some sort of vision, because now he's going to be looking for her. Alright, he's seeing things, or everybody in Silent Hill is insane. Well, you think other people would be, you know, calling the CDC or whatever if that was the case. I think it's reasonable that he would be looking for his girlfriend. This is kind of cute too. He talks about him being a tail dragger, but then he actually is. Except that the monsters aren't that great in design. And while I enjoy the artwork, this guy certainly isn't Masahiro Ito. Alright, it isn't Perkins. I guess that's the guy who was yelling at him. And he has a tail, and he's dragging it. Except the monsters are, like, really lame. They're either like these big mouths on heads, or they're just a regular looking human, but they have a skull head. Okay, this is just like a skull head. I thought that was kind of funny too, calling him a slacker, but again, like the good things about this just don't make up for the bad things. Okay, so the unidentified woman in the 911 call was Rosie, apparently. And even after all this, I can't bring myself to care about the main character. And that's another problem. And these monsters are pretty lame too. These are the baby ones. Kinda of cherry soda. It seems like a typo or something. Seems like it should be kinda like cherry soda. I don't know. It's not like she's dead because he didn't go away. But it's like he said he had to work. I mean, it's pretty rude of her to be yelling at him for this. Considering he just had to work as normal and said he wasn't going to take it off. Except it's not a trick. And I don't understand what his use is either. I mean, the main character, can't even remember his name now, but so apparently Whatley and friends want him just to write a book about what's going on, which seems really stupid to me. Because he doesn't even seem to know what's going on. I mean, certainly Whatley or one of his cronies, whoever they are, they'd be better at writing a book about this. And then the whole thing keeps wrongly saying that Samuel is the god of the cult, or of Silent Hill, or something like that. And the book he's supposed to be writing is called The Book of Samuel. And by the way, okay. And meanwhile, he just has a box of donuts. But yeah, I can kind of see why these didn't turn on. I mean, didn't catch on. Yes, it's either Sephiroth or else it's Julian Sands in the Warlock movies, I don't know. Also distracting is the way this dude draws women's butts. Because everything else is like realistic, and then they have these giant, huge, globe-like bubble butts. I think there was a Metal Gear Solid one too that I actually bought and downloaded for PSP, but I didn't really look through it much. I don't think that was exactly the same thing though. Or maybe it was, I don't know, I didn't look through it. So I think I was just going through PSN when the PSP was still new and just buying whatever was related to game series I liked. Oh, and here we have some Silent Hill 3 monsters. I don't know what the thing is in the middle, though. I also had that Metal Gear Solid that had the Silent Hill 1 demo in it. I have that sitting around here somewhere. So that's somewhat on topic. Well, it's too bad the music is messed up by a bad comic, though. Is it a Henry reference? No, what the hell? I don't know about some of these sounds either. A bit goofy. Oh, now we get some Silent Hill 1 monsters. Going out of focus a little bit here. Not that the story is, that anyone's going to miss it. Anyway, you can download the screen caps. That guy reminds me of the tall man in Phantasm, also, sort of, somehow. There's a lot of these characters that remind me of, I don't know, other people. He doesn't anymore, but at some point he did. And I think at this point is where the whole story starts getting a bit too hokey to deal with. Like, until this point, you can suspend your disbelief, but once it gets, too ridiculous, it just sort of takes you out of the story. Alright, the barbershop. Then we just have to, meet all these characters that he knew in the past or something. I don't know. and it sort of makes it drag on. Then we have to deal with them yelling at each other for swearing. And this guy seems normal at first, but of course he is not. Because at this point it seems nobody is, like, quite right, or they're undead or monsters or, you know, bad or evil in some way. And then, like, shortly after this, like, a SWAT team randomly shows up. Like, what's going on there? Like, how come they aren't affected by whatever's going on? Except, of course, she's not alive. And now she thinks she's a librarian and is all confused for a minute here. See, this is what I mean about weird looking butts. Okay, now we learn that they're trying to do some stuff, you know, rebirthing God or whatever. So they're looking for women who can carry the the baby, I guess. If you want to call it a baby, I don't know. This part reminds me of The Crow, and that guy with the long black hair and that lady is looking out the window at Devil's Night. Well, you would kind of think it was her if it looks exactly like her. There's some butterfly imagery too, I guess, to go back to. Like Maria's tattoo. Whap. So here's the stupid book he's supposed to be writing. Except it looks like it's already written now, or... But I never wrote any books. Well, it looks like a crap book anyway, you shouldn't write it. Especially since he doesn't know what the hell's going on. I mean, I get that he's a journalist and all, but I think he's a bad choice for writing about this, considering Watley seems to know a whole lot more than he does. Where do these guys come from? I mean, everybody else is like, I don't know what word to use, but they're like undead or have turned bad or something, and then suddenly there's police that are not bad. Well, I suppose those other police were not bad either. Maybe police are just magically immune to the Silent Hill influence. Yeah, that could be it too. Okay, now we have an insane cancer. Yeah, I'm confused too. The order what? I can't read that part. Alright. Your crappy book needs to be written. Yeah. Okay, so now we're getting a Brookhaven Hospital reference. So I guess the police were just brought in so we could find more weapons. Like that's their only, like, point to the plot here. The Doctor is insane. Also, he looks exactly like Christian Bale. Don't know who these people are. Where's the Doctor? There he is. So I guess this is the guy who was in charge of, I don't know, going through these women's files and looking for somebody to birth the god or whatever. Wrong button again. Then it has to load for a few seconds here. Okay. Alright, the god is not yet here. Then we get this lame crap. That's just people with skull heads. And of all the crap that doesn't really seem to fit in Silent Hill, I think this monster design sort of takes the cake. Also, the Windows Movie Maker type transitions annoy me. Like the shutters seems particularly overused at this point. It's about the god Samuel, except he's not the god. Then he just randomly gets a mouth on his hand along with the halo of the sun, which I don't understand that either. Well, of course Rosie's where I am. Well, I'm not in the sense of undead, but I guess she's one trying to birth the god. We weren't in the hospital anymore. That's some rather lame looking monsters. Alright. So what Leia's supposed to be like Alessa? But why? I guess it's more interesting than writing about that lady's flowers, but it's not very coherent. Except no, he didn't lead Rosie into the hands of any killers. All he did was go to work, like he normally would have. So this is all kind of crap. Like, he's not even to blame if he's just going to work like, you know, he would any other day. I mean, yes, she suggested he do otherwise, but logically, I think most people with bills to pay would have gone to work. And here we have a mouth like the one in behind that what's it called? That glass in Brookhaven, the foggy glass room or whatever. And we have a little Walter. I think Ito said that was not Lisa's mouth. I know he commented on the body parts that are around Brookhaven, but I don't remember off the top of my head. People used to ask him about these sorts of things on his forum, but I think it's kind of dead now. Though he's still active on Twitter. And this doesn't make any sense at all to me either. No, it's not Samuel's sigil. And why is there a mouth in it? Yes, it's hungry, but whatever. Then what was like high five? But yeah, the problems with the story, there are many of them. Especially that Samuel is the god, and the way the Halo of the Sun is used. I mean, it does make for a good tattoo, but that's not a good place for it. Yeah, that's awesome. I've seen so many pictures of people that have gotten that as a tattoo. And a lot of other good ones out there too, not just that. Okay, so now he just sort of gives up. And that's the end of it. Alrighty then. Well, thanks for hanging around. I guess I'll end it there, and I'll try to upload a slightly better quality video in the next day or two. Alright, signing off now.